Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm calling these classes our twilight sessions. However, as you can tell, the earth has a little more rotating to do before this is really a twilight time. Okay, so I'd like us to just start in a seated position, having an alert spine, chin very slightly tucked towards your chest. Just begin to take a couple of deep breaths, and perhaps in breathing, we can relax our eyelids and maybe bring our eyes to close. Take a deep inhale through your nose and release. Try to deepen that inhale and release. Continue to breathe in a way that keeps your body feeling alert and active while also feeling nourished by the breath that you're taking. I would like to honor George Floyd in this practice today, as well as any person who was the victim of violence, discrimination, and systems of oppression. I also want to invite all of you, if there is someone or something that you would like to dedicate this practice to, we can always open the space more and invite those people or those things in. So please take a moment or take several moments in honor of George Floyd and those before and unfortunately, hopefully never after him. And also for someone or something dear to you. And let this practice serve as a dedication to them, as a space where they can be appreciated and deeply honored in homage. Take a few more breaths in silence. As you feel ready, you can gently let those eyes open. And we're going to move into our physical bodies a little more deeply, keeping our intention, our dedication in our hearts and in our breath. So we're going to just start simply with a tall spine. I'm just turning sideways so you get a different angle. We're going to walk ourselves onto our hands and knees. And then open your knees slightly wider than your hips, sending your hips back in space, child's pose. In today's practice, rather than working on the heart opening, as we do often in our practices together, we're going to turn a little more inward, work towards closing that heart space in a statement of protection, in a statement of sealing the doors a little bit. So for the next half an hour, if your hearts feel full, maybe about to spill out, you're going to work on bring the lid back on a little bit, containing ourselves, sheltering our hearts and everything that is sacred, and just holding ourselves there rather than opening to take in and take on more. While we rest in child's pose, feel free to walk your arms out a little more to get that stretch in your upper back, perhaps in your armpit area. You can prop up on your fingertips like tents. If this is uncomfortable, I invite you to place a pillow underneath your forehead. Excellent. On your next inhale, come on back to our tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We'll walk our hands out about a palm print. Inhale here. And then exhale, tucking your toes. You're going to lift from your hips, keeping your knees nice and bent. Downward facing dog. Feel free to walk your feet out a little bit here. And notice the shape that you are making with your bodies. Notice that your whole body is positioned so that your heart is shielded from the front and from the back, and yet there is still space for breath to flow. There is still space for stretching and lengthening. Take one more inhale here. And on your exhale, walking your hands towards your feet in a nice deep knee bended forward fold. If you would like, you can reach for opposite elbows, relax that neck, just bring a gentle swing side to side. See how slowly you can move, how mindfully you can feel into every part of your body that's engaged. By bending our knees, we are relying on our muscles to hold us up, to demonstrate their strength for us. Excellent. And then come back to a neutral forward fold. Bend your knees, and on an inhale, reaching those arms out, out, out. Palms meet overhead. And exhale, bringing those palms down just in front of your heart. Take a few moments here, perhaps close your eyes, palms in front of that heart space. This position of the hands is commonly known as Anjali Mudra. And it's, in different Hindu tradition, it's a greeting position, it's an offering position. It's often accompanied by words of greeting, words of acknowledgement of each other. As your Anjali Mudra is in front of your heart, just acknowledge your heart here. As your hands stand in protection in front. Excellent. From here, we can flicker open our eyes. We're going to take a deep cleansing breath, tall spine, and exhale, stepping your left foot forward. And both feet are going to be pointed to the front. Excellent. You can bring your hands down to your hips if you'd like a little alignment check. You're going to try to send your right hip a little more forward and your left hip a little more back so that your hips are actually square rather than open. There we go. Inhale, tall spine. And then exhale, begin to shift your heart forward until we get to perhaps a flat tabletop position. If you'd like to bring a bend to that front knee, please do. In fact, a micro bend is always encouraged. Think of sending energy out the top of your head, lengthening through that back body. If you have any pillows or blocks, you can place them underneath your hands if you'd like to go further. And just find a place where you can round your spine Relax your neck. You can use your leg to prop up on, keeping a nice bend in the knee. We're going to take a few moments here. Try to return to that breath. If at any moment holding the position becomes uncomfortable, simply bend your knees to come out of it and then rejoin us at any point. In our breath, remember who we are dedicating this practice to in addition to ourselves. Relax the back of the neck even more. And we draw those hips more square in space. One final inhale here. And exhale. And bending that front knee for stability. You can walk your hands up to your hips. Come on back to standing. Note if you're practicing while sitting in a chair, simply mimic the positions of my legs while sitting on the edge of the chair. I'm going to take an inhale to turn both feet to the side. You can take a couple steps so that your heels are in line. You can inhale, tall spine. And exhale, fall, bending forward. I'm going to say fall forward. I never want anyone to fall forward. And find your way, perhaps with a flat back in a tabletop position. Always bring a bend to the knees. Now this fold is a little more narrow than we often do our wide-legged folds, so just be mindful of that. Perhaps you don't go down as far as you normally would. Perhaps this brings a different sensation to the backs of the legs. Take one more inhale in this long spine position. And exhale, melt as far as you're comfortable melting today. You can send those arms down the legs. If they reach the floor, cool. Maybe they stay stack up on some pillows. And of course, we let our neck melt, relaxing our head towards the floor. We're going to bring a nice bend to both knees. Perhaps your hands can reach the floor. Deep bend, and then on an exhale, straightening back up. On an inhale, bending your knees wherever your hands are. Exhale, sending those hips up and your head down. One final round. Inhale, sending those hips down. And exhale, sending them back up. One final cycle of breath here. And with a bend of your knees, begin to roll up one vertebrae at a time, as slowly as you're able. When you get to the top, rolling those shoulders down your spine, bringing your palms back to prayer or your offering position. Take a deep breath. Release. One more inhale here. And release. Now we're going to send it to the other side. I will come back to those pillows eventually. We're going to turn our right foot towards the right side and turning our left foot as well. Now, our both toes can be pointing to the front. If that was uncomfortable on the first side, we turn the back toes slightly on a diagonal. There's different ways to stand for different stability, so you're really just trying to find what works best for you. We're going to inhale here, tall spine. And exhale with a flat back. Perhaps we get to a tabletop position. Take an inhale here and pause. And exhale, releasing as much as we're comfortable. Your hands can rest on your leg, on the floor, or on pillows or blocks, sending a micro bend into that front knee, squaring those hips towards the front, towards your toes, relaxing your head down. Take a deep breath. Bring your awareness to that heart space now. What has changed in the space around your heart? One more breath cycle here. Carefully and slowly sending your body up, opening that heart again to the side, and turning your toes to the front one more time. Here we're going to actually turn our toes slightly out. So they're little, like little sides of a triangle is a better description I could use than that. But I'm aware that the top of my head is cut off and I just see it, so I'm trying to adjust. Okay, so we're here. Let's gently send our tailbone slightly forward, shoulders slightly back. Deep breath here. Move into our goddess pose. So for our goddess pose, we're going to send our arms out and up. Finger energize out through those fingers, and we begin to sink our hips towards the ground. We might need to do a little adjusting. Good. And our elbows bend here. A friend of mine says, everything is possible in goddess pose. I tend to agree. So just take 2 more breaths, knowing everything is possible in goddess pose. 1 more inhale. Exhale to send everything back up, palms meet overhead. You come to your Anjali Mudra, giving a greeting towards yourself, towards each other in this practice. Take a deep breath here. Very nice. You're going to begin to either walk those feet in or just simply step them in. If you're on your mat, you're going to turn towards the short end of your mat, reaching your arms up on an inhale. Palms come together, slice right in front of you on your exhale. Inhale, hands come to shins, halfway lift, heart towards the earth. Exhale, release your fingertips. Inhale, bend your knees and flatten your palms. You're going to step your right leg back and your left foot high plank just for a moment. And exhale, knees come to the ground, crossing your ankles behind you and sending your hips back. Here is where, if you have brought some pillows for the ride, you're going to utilize them. So we're going to start sitting with our legs extended. You can use your hands to prop us up. This is a far more challenging posture to achieve than so many other postures, especially if you were tight up the backs of your legs. So if you're finding that your spine is rounding, that is absolutely okay. Simply bend your knees as much as you need to try to send that spine open. We're doing a momentary heart to the sky, a heart to the sun in appreciation. And then exhale, we're going to send your arms up and over in a forward fold, a seated forward fold. If your knees are bent, simply scooch a pillow or 2 under them. And perhaps you even have a pillow on top so that your forward fold is supported. The pillows serve as an extension of your support system. So they're an extension of the earth, they're an extension of your body, bringing the earth to you, so perhaps you don't have to work harder than you should have to work ever, or if you experience pain, and the pain eclipses any benefits or release that you might get from the posture, there's no need. There's no need to feel that kind of pain. We, as humans, adapt. This is a beautiful adaptation. Everybody is different. Everybody's body is different. There's not one flow for everybody. So hopefully I'm distracting you a little bit. Yes, I know we're still in this position. This is one of those that we're going to hold a little longer. If you can release your neck a little bit more and you won't, be suffocated by this pillow, please do. Otherwise, you can turn an ear to the pillow. Maybe you close your eyes. You are always invited to come out of a pose at any point that it is no longer serving you. Recognizing the things that serve us and don't serve us is part of the whole process, right? And slowly curl that spine back up. I'm going to remove our props and just sit up. Your staff position here. We're going to bend our left knee, place it over the right leg. Inhale that right arm. Exhale, you're going to hug that knee into you and then turn over that left shoulder to twist to the left side. Your arm might come up in a sort of warrior position, perhaps, or it just stays on the ground. In terms of our hearts, what do you think? I tend to think of this as a shield, like a literal shield, kind of blocking off things that are unwanted. Take one more cycle of breath here. When you exhale, when you uncross that leg, reach those arms up, and exhale, we're going to send our hearts forward again, using the props as needed. We return to the breath. We return to an energy of release. Release. When you're ready, inhale to roll back up that spine. Remove any props. Exhale. Inhale, you're going to bend your right knee, place it over your left leg. Inhale, left arm comes up. And you're going to hug your right knee in with that left hand, turning over that right shoulder. Perhaps that right arm comes up in a bit of a warrior posture, or your hand stays firmly rooted. This is a kickstand for you to pivot in this twist even more. And again, the breath. How even can we make our breath, even when our body is twisted, contorted, and in all otherwise strange shapes? How deep can we make our breath, knowing that we are in control in this moment of who we are? On your next exhale, gently unwind, uncross. Give your legs a little shake. Wonderful. We're going to cross our legs one more time. Press over onto our hands and knees. And without opening our knees too much, we're going to send our hips back into our child's pose one more time. And this time, if you're comfortable, placing your elbows on the mat, bringing those prayer hands above your head, maybe eyes closed. In this physical position of surrender and of honor, just bring your mind back to your intention, to our dedication for today, and just spend some time alone with that dedication. Feeling the connection to the earth, in those elbows and the tops of your feet and in your forehead. Feeling the connection to each other through the practice of breathing and through the practice of yoga and through the practice of showing up for yourself again and again and again. This is a posture to honor not only those around us, but also those who live within us and our own hearts. When you're ready, let those palms come back to the earth. We're going to send our hands back to reach our heels. We're going to send our hips up in space. We practiced this last week. The pose is rabbit pose. I think I called it something kind of ridiculous last time, but this is rabbit. You're resting very gently on the crown of your head, using your hands to kind of control how much weight is in your head. If it's too much, send those hips towards your heels a little more. Take a deep breath, knowing here your heart is in its least vulnerable position, protected on all sides of the body by the body. Next exhale, send those hips back to your heels, a breath in child's pose. And then exhale one more time, lifting those hips, gently placing weight on the crown of the head, moving into rabbit pose. And on your exhale, sending your hips back down. Bring the palms in front. We're just going to press into an easy tabletop position just to kind of recalibrate. Maybe you feel the blood rushing in your ears a little bit or your heart beating a little bit faster. I'm going to take 2 rounds of cat and cow, deliberately emptying out the heart space. And then on the inhale, opening it back up. On the exhale, closing it, emptying, squeezing it out. And on the inhale, refreshing inhale as you rehydrate that heart, sending love and air back in. And whenever you're ready, come back to a neutral spine. Cross those heels behind us for our final time today. We're going to send those legs out as we move into our Shavasana. And here, if you have a blanket and it's not too toasty, I invite you to place your blanket right over your heart. As you let your feet open out to the side and just fall where they fall, letting your arms rest where they are, either palm up or palm down. This can be a very vulnerable position for your heart, for your whole front body. And we also close our eyes in this position. An enormous amount of trust is generated in this position. So we use the blanket. It's just a gentle supportive reminder that we are here together, and in these moments we spend, we are safe. We are safe from internal harm and external harm. Like a child tucking under its blankets, getting all snug. You too can tuck under your blankets at any time, whether that be the practice of yoga, whether that be an actual nap, a good book, deep cleansing breaths. We feel our hearts at ease. Today's meditation, I'm going to leave you in silence with your own breath, and I will speak again in a few moments to stir us into a little bit more energy. While you continue to breathe, letting your thoughts come and go in a natural way, I just want to take a few moments just to read a couple of names in honor of our practice today, and in acknowledgement of the state of the world as we currently experience it. And I would just like to, in addition to honoring George Floyd, also honor Breonna Taylor, Eric Garner, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, Sean Reed, Michael Brown, Ahmaud Arbery, Trayvon Martin, Amadou Diallo, Manuel Loggins Jr., Ronald Madison, Kendra James, Sean Bell, Alton Sterling, and the countless more who were not included in this list. We just take a breath in their honor. Releasing healing into the world. For the systems of oppression that generate such violence towards individuals and groups throughout history, throughout families, throughout neighborhoods. Take a deep inhale in acknowledgement and release. Opening up our circle, I would like to re-invite those people and those things that you maybe brought to class today that you have been carrying in your hearts, departed or living. Take a deep breath and release. Continue to breathe, noticing any sensations in your body. And breathe together. Ever so gently begin to bring some motion back into your bodies. Wiggling your fingers or your toes. Here I'd like to guide us into a more pleasant stretch, our banana asana. So just reach those arms overhead as you lay on your back, like you're stretching in the morning. Just gently guide those hips to the right as you walk your feet and your arms to the left. And if a bird were watching you from the sky, you would look like a banana. And I love that image of all of us being bananas together, because bananas come in bunches, and that's what this lovely yoga practice is to me. And when you're ready, moving back through center, sending your hips to the left, your arms and feet to the right, just getting that slight stretch in the side body, breathing here. Banana asana, yeah. And coming back to our neutral spine. Perhaps you're gonna roll over to your favorite side as a brief step before sitting up. Eyes still closed, pressing up into a comfortable seated position, noticing how you feel. Maybe it's a slight lightheadedness or a warmth from that blanket that maybe slid off of you in this process. Let's bring our palms in front of us. And with as much intensity or lightness as you like, you need to rub those hands back and forth, generating some heat between those palms. Rubbing them together, and on an inhale, send those hands to your heart, letting that heat from your hands, these external tools that we use to interact and recognize our world, sends heat and loving protection to the heart within. That makes us who we are. That makes us capable of choice. And for our final time today, bring those palms together in a prayer position, Anjali Mudra, this greeting, this offering, sending those hands towards your third eye. Inhale, tall spine. And exhale, slight bow forward. I offer you namaste here, and overall, I offer you thank you. I offer you my gratitude, and thank you for joining me in this special practice. I hope we can come together again and again and again, forever. So thanks, everybody. Also, if our classes are always free, but if you were to donate, all donations to either my Venmo or Cash App will go to the Black Youth Project 100, or you can donate directly to them if you have the means and ability at www.epy100.org, and that 100 is just 100. So thank you, everybody. Go with some peace. We always have practice together to bring us back together, so we have that. Oh my gosh, my Jack skeleton looks so pathetic in the background. He's smelling the flowers. That's what we'll call it. Thank you, everybody. Be well. I'll see you soon.